Hey guys, Silvertorian here, and first thing we're going to show off is here in the free run mode, which that is going to be the Hydra. Just going to run around with it a little bit so I can show off what this is. I believe we can only show it off in the free mode or in City Trial itself. So first of all, as you can see, there's a... Oh yeah, I need to mention how you hop off. If you hold the stop button and hold back, you will hop off. But as you can see, it doesn't go anywhere on its own. What you need to do is charge up. You can see that the charge meter is filling up very slowly. If you get up to about 3/4, it'll take. You can start there, but I usually like to fill it up to full. But then the vehicle will take off, and it's fast. Like you can just see how fast it's going, and it actually turns pretty darn well for how fast it does go. So that's pretty much all I have to say on the Hydra. You can see its health bar is pretty big. It hits hard, it's tough to destroy, it's a beast. It really is. Alright, now that's pretty much all I had to show off there, so let's end game. For the other two things, we're going to air ride mode and show off those. We'll just start a simple... Oh, what's a good track? I like Checker Knights. First thing I'm going to show off is I will show off DDD. Let's turn you up to 6, everybody. And let's show off vehicles that I haven't seen yet. Let's give you... Well, I haven't really seen the Wing Star. Basically, it's kind of slow, but it flies pretty well. There's the Bulk Star. Show that off. And I think we've seen everything else at this point. I'll show off Meta Knight next, and we'll go from there. But DDD just rolls around on his wheelie bike here. He's a little bit slower at the start and stuff. He cannot absorb copy abilities like Kirby can. But to counteract that, DDD has a hammer, which essentially acts like the sword power-up, only it hits like a hammer. DDD is slow, heavy, powerful, and powerful. So if I could catch up to someone and smash them into oblivion, I would show that off. Oh, it's not too much of a deal. Ow. Oh, I must have turned off the health bars for this. DDD is by all means not a bad character. I don't really like playing as him. You'll see certain areas on the field, like he got hit. Certain areas on the field, like those gold parts of the rails, and there are the green speed boosts, which I'm sure you've seen around. You normally have to like slide drift over them to get the effect on a star, but on a wheelie bike or with DDD, you can kind of just roll right over them. I don't know if these spin things would hit you regardless, or if you have to actually be on the ground over them. That's something I have to keep in mind. But yeah, this is pretty much all there is to the air ride mode. It's not that huge of a thing. It's not terribly interesting. And if I hit that properly, I could have done a jump, and wow, the person first is way in first. Now there are things here, switches, which if you hit, they will throw that up or down, which is kind of useful to be able to not hit them if you take the choice. And who's in first and who's in last? I mean, it's basically just been me and the Wing Star in second, and then the guy in last, and then whoever's in first. Now, as I was trying to show off, you can kind of smash your way through that, and smash your way through this, which will put you on the correct trail to go this way. And then that's pretty much everything I have to say for this track. There is not a lot I can say about it. It's kind of fun, to be granted, but a lot of the tracks like this are, wow, this is finished already. A lot of the tracks in this game are rather basic. And DDD is a lot slower than I remember. There is one track in this game, I'm not going to show it off because of how bland it is, but it's just a simple figure 8 with nothing else. There's like 2 spots you can run over to get a random power-up, a few jump spots, but literally nothing else. If you want a fast vehicle, a Formula Star, the Rex Wheelie, both excellent choices for that one, which is kind of funny because the Formula Star is usually terrible in everything you try to do with it. And let's go through this way. Now we... Wow. You can see what I tried to do there, but the game said nope. And thankfully I hit both switches there, so it went up and then right back down. Oh yeah, and ice, you kind of slide on, which I have a bike, so that means I slide terribly. Oh, the Bulk Star would have been in last. That makes sense. Alright, and beyond that, the other level I wanted to show off was Celestial Valley, I think? Yeah, sure. And for that, I will be showing off Meta Knight. Let's go with a better color. Let's go with white Meta Knight, because why not? Right, Meta Knight is a lot like DDD. He cannot charge up, as you can see, it's just his wing. There's no charge up thing. He's got decent speed, he flies, and he has his sword, Galacta? I don't remember what the sword's name is. That's a rocket star ahead of us, which I don't remember what all the stars are in this game. In this one, there are a lot of, a lot of like little tricks and stuff you can take, like you can ride on the rails of that fence. Here, you want to try to make it into the top area, because that's the better of the two. And then you can get on the minecart rails and just kind of ride that out, because awesomeness. You can fly up and get on these vines here, which is kind of a big deal. And I'm just kind of making sure I hit the ground for all of those, and then it will launch you up there. This game, you can see the tracks. They're kind of interesting in their own right, but there's not enough of them to be interesting. I mean, the Mario Kart games, that's 4 cups of 4 tracks each before you get into the retro tracks. So that's 16 tracks before you get into retro. This game has 7, I want to say. I'm pretty sure it only has 7 tracks total. So it has less than half of what a Mario Kart game would have. And none of them on their own is terribly interesting or fun to play. And one of them is just a completely flat figure 8 for the most part. So really not fun to do. And I basically did the same thing there. And what is that just got ahead of me? I have no clue. Alright, let's take the upper path. Oh, that was a Slick Star, I believe. Right, but yeah, we just take that again, and we can kind of roll up here, and it's usually faster to be on the rails than off the rails, so if you can get on a rail, get on a rail. So, yeah, that's a Slick Star with normal Kirby on it. Meta Knight is kind of difficult to control for the most part. He's not bad, like, I would say he's better than DDD. That I would definitely say for sure. And you can miss that vine there and fall to your death, which is kind of funny. You can also turn on health bars in air ride mode, which if your health bar destroyed, you're out of the race, so that's another thing that happens. Alright, that was Meta Knight and DDD in air ride mode. I don't really want to show off any more of air ride mode, so let's go over to Top Ride. Top Ride is a top-down racer thing. What's a good track to show off? Metal will be a good track to show off. There are only 2 air ride choices. There is the Free Star and the Steer Star. I will show both off, starting off with the Free Star, which I believe I don't like as much. And let's go with Purple Kirby, as usual. We do not need... Oh, why on earth would you want to do 55 or 99 laps? Do 3 laps. Make sure this doesn't take too long. You basically, for this star in particular, you move in whichever direction you hold the control stick in, and it just goes like that. And in this particular board, you can see that the way the track starts moving is dependent on, it's like if you drift through this, because you'll start that gear spinning, and then everything else will turn in coordination to that. And you can turn on the fans there, which will make this track go a little worse. I don't know, the Top Ride mode is interesting in its own way, but I don't really like it enough to play a lot. Power-ups, of course, you see the rocket ahead there, there's the drill, the get bigger thing, so a bunch of stuff like that. And that's just one thing of Top Ride. Now I'll show off, what's the other track I'll do? I shall do Sky. And I will show off the Steer Star here. I probably could have turned the computers up, but I don't care. The Steer Star, opposite to the Free Star, is that... let's try to go over that properly. Is that you always go forward. It's a lot more like a standard air ride. You always go forward, and you're simply controlling the steering aspect of it. And I got a thing that makes me go slower. So that's kind of a bad thing. And I got stunned there. The games are kind of chaotic. You can, you'll slide, of course, like normal with the A button, which the A button does everything in the game. The only thing it doesn't do is tell you Kirby to slash with his sword, because he does that automatically. Ow. Well, I'm not going to win this one, because that's the game. Got third at least, better than last. that's all there really is to Top Ride. I mean, it's basically the same thing. There's only 7 tracks. Yeah, there's only 7 tracks total. None of them are particularly interesting, so they're not really that interesting. That's why City Trial is the only mode that I really liked in this game. The other 2 just aren't that interesting. So that's been Let's Play Kirby's Air Ride. I've shown off everything I'm going to show off. I'm probably not going to come back to it. 3 videos is enough for a game like this. Don't really need to overdo it. Hopefully next time, and hopefully it won't take too long, but we'll get into another game. A good game. Well, I'm not saying this is a bad game, but I'm talking too long. See you guys all then. Later.